the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it.
The time has come. Execute Order 66.
Botanical sexism was introduced to many TikTok users thanks to this video that's been liked more than 450,000 times. The video claims people have worse allergies and asthma in the United States than they otherwise would because landscapers planted more male trees than female trees, arguing the males are easier to maintain than the females, hence the term botanical sexism. So let's verify. Has botanical sexism created a greater pollen problem in American cities? Our sources are the AAAAI, the American Academy of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology, a study on urban tree pollen allergy riskscapes by Quebec health and forestry researchers, Thomas Ogren, the horticulturalist and pollen allergy expert who coined the term botanical sexism.
And at the backbone of it is sort of a nasty sort of element, like males are superior to females.
And Kenneth Mendez, president and CEO of the AAFA, the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America.
There was an initiative over time in urban environments to plant male trees. Male trees release pollen.
An excerpt from a May 2021 study on urban tree pollen confirms Mendez's claim. Male trees, which produce pollen, have been promoted over female trees, which bear fruit and seeds. Why? Because it was decided that the mess from pollen is just less bothersome to clean up than the seeds and fruit from female trees. Ogren says the 1949 USDA Yearbook is the earliest evidence of urban planners' preference for male trees, but argues the approach doesn't make sense because the weight of the seeds that fall off of female trees is nearly equal to the weight of pollen that falls from male trees.
It's all about the same.
Planting more male trees has resulted in an urban pollen explosion, according to a 2018 workgroup report from the AAAAI. The report concluded this approach has resulted in homogeneous pollen profiles with a high community prevalence of allergy. So we can verify, yes, botanical sexism created a greater pollen problem in American cities. With your Verify, I'm Ariante Till. Want something verified? Email us or send us a text. For more stories like this and to sign up for our newsletter, go to verifythis.com.
Yo, I am back from the dead. Yeah, check out verify.com. I don't know where I found them at, but it's a little add in, a little chip into the story, the theme of the, what are we talking about here? Who am I? You know the fuck I am. I ain't been live like this in about a month. I've been on my Revolution Atlantean military president skits. But I'm back with another one. I am back. I should have threw an echo on that joint, like back. All right, let's go. What are we talking about here? Let me get my OBS mind, because I'm all over the place. I'm daydreaming right now. Let me get in my OBS mind. What we talking about here? What we talking about? Practice? What we talking about? Yeah, let's go. What we talking about? Practice? Practice? I need practice on OBS because I'm all over the place. Hey, wait, unmute the mic. Yeah, stop playing with your boy, man. Stop playing with your boy, Bizoy. You alive with King MattTheGod, and I'm back with another one. This time, something a little more closer and crazy and personal. See, let me explain. For the last 24, 48 hours, it happens every year, I get crazy asthma attack. And then always around this time, it seems like around when the weather changed, either it's from the spring to summer or the summer to fall, when a lot of the pollen, the grass cutting, and the heated air and the pollution, it all just combined for like a bad motherfucking day for me. Like, so I was at work delivering my packages. I'm package boy, Amazon package slave. So I'm delivering my shit. And yo, these motherfuckers out in the suburbs, I can't even say they white, because they'd be all different races out in suburban Pennsylvania. And like, these motherfuckers just like always cut the motherfucking grass at the same time. Like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like, it'll be one day, like, every damn house, niggas riding around on lawnmowers. Like, bro, I can't breathe. I be ready to scream like, yo. And then these motherfuckers, they don't sweep up their grass clippings. They just like, the sidewalk will be filled with fucking grass clippings. And like, and you can just tell, like, over time, that shit just basically just be in the air. All the grass clippings just in the air. They air quality is trash. And we're gonna go deeper into that. We're called desensitizing, and how do you get rid of allergies. The best way is you gotta expose. It's almost like the best way to create immunity to something is you gotta expose your child or yourself to that. So them living out there in that cut grass area all the fucking time in the big ass yards and grass, that shit probably don't affect them. But little old me from the city, where we don't have that much grass, like yesterday I was on motherfucking, like, you want to see a dead body? Yeah, I was out there like on my last breath. And anybody y'all have asthma, y'all know each breath be like feeling like you're gasping for life. Like, you're like, it's the most saddest and scariest feeling. So imagine me having an asthma attack, nowhere near my inhaler. I had an asthma attack for like 5 hours straight, a 5-hour asthma attack. Yo, my boy, I was on the fucking ropes. Like, I was hurting out here, like, but I'm a little better than me. I'm trying to take some allergy medicine, use my inhaler here and there. I mean, I might need to get on a nebulizer. That's fucked up. But this is a topic that I wanted to get on, that I was thinking about for the last couple weeks, when a Claritin commercial or something like that came on, and they was explaining the male trees and how around the 1900s, early 1900s, it seemed, I got data on that they was methodical. I can't even say the word. They would basically, they planned to only plant male trees. Because why? Well, we gonna go into that. As they explained a little bit of that video, I don't know why they want to call it botanical sexism. They just can't just like not go on some sexism and stuff, even though it's a topic of male and female trees. Supposedly male trees give up all the pollen. That's deep. How males, we give off the seed, like, or we whatever sperm or whatever. Pollen is like tree sperm, huh? All right, so, and then the female trees lay seeds and fruit. And a lot of people have a theory that they just basically didn't want motherfuckers to have free fruit. You walking on the street, just walk, grab an apple off the tree, and just bite the apple. Like, life's good. Like, garden of eating out here. Like, they probably was on some shit like, no, I don't get these motherfuckers no free food. You already know how the food industry is, man. Greedy motherfuckers. You can't collect your own water. You barely can grow your own crops. You can't generate your own electricity. They trying to, y'all don't control Earth, motherfucker. Let that shit go. Like, I mean, see, that's why I'll be doing them videos on them Atlantean taker. We need to, something gotta give. We gotta overthrow somebody, cause that shit crazy. So we gonna get into some video. I might go back to that first video. What was they talking about? It was deep what they was talking about, like, and you see, it goes a little deeper and stuff that I can read for y'all. So let's see what we got here. All right. They said the term botanical sexism was introduced to many TikTok users thanks to a video that has been liked more than 450,000 times within the app. All right, excuse me, guys, because I just explained that. I mean, you might hear me gasp for air here and there because I'm still a little fucked up. When you have a crazy asthma attack and you away from an inhaler for a long time, sometimes it take you about 2 days to recover. So I'm still trying to get my breath back. But trust me, 24 hours ago, I was like, I'm about to die. Like, so I was driving home from work, like, about to die every breath on the highway. So all right. The video has been liked more than 450,000 times within the app. All right, let me check some levels and make sure I ain't running my mouth and the mic is muted or some weird shit. All right, everything's good. I'm gonna leave the background music on. All right, let's go. We back with the lives, the informative, deep theories, rabbit hole. All right, listen. The question: has botanical sexism created a greater pollen problem in the American cities? See, another reason I want to do this video, because I'll cover so much about who we are, the black Americans here in America, and I feel like we prisoners of war and a lot of shit that's been going on to kind of take people's land and country, and you know what I mean? And I got in my head like, does this affect black people more? Or like, you know, man, I start going to my like nigga mind, like, hold up, like, are y'all like, did y'all plant all these? This is around the 1900s, 1950s. So when they decided, let's plant a lot of male trees. So I'm like, damn, is this some biological warfare or something? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why would y'all do that? Like, y'all scientists, wouldn't y'all be smart enough to know that pollen causes fucking respiratory and breathing problems? Like, wouldn't y'all? So it just got me thinking, like, a lot of theories, like, did y'all do this to try to like weaken a certain race or population of people? Like, why do y'all just do this in American cities? I think they did it in Europe a little bit too. Regulated mostly male trees. But all right, let's keep going. Yes, male trees have long been favored over female trees in American cities because males don't have seeds or fruits. Now, I mean, we can't eat. They create a mess or look less aesthetically pleasing. With the female trees, we're trying to say female trees look fucked up and they don't look pretty. They don't blossom or bloom or whatever. What the fuck? All right, let me sketch your head. They was talking about Dutch elm disease created by elm trees that are monoecious. All right, that's it. Monoecious trees, meaning they have both female flowers and male flowers. What type of trans tree? All right. The University of Georgia article explains that trees can also be dioecious, meaning an individual tree will be fully male or fully female. So it seems like most trees are the second type. They either male or female. They're not like a mixture. Shit, we need both, because this pollen getting out of fucking hand. Like, anybody that knows, you go to most of these, especially you go a little bit outside of Philly or places where just a lot of trees, you see the pollen just all covering the whole ground, the sidewalk, the street. Like, yo, like, and when I see that, I be thinking in my head like, oh my God, my breathing about to be fucked up in this area. Like, and they'll send you alerts on a lot of these weather apps and things. They'll say like the weather quality is bad today, and we about to get a couple of them. So stay tuned. This might be something for us, a lot of us to think about. So thank God I'm on the right mind to put these type videos out. Let's get to it. All right. So in 1949, the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, produced a yearbook. They always behind something. All these motherfuckers, USDA, they be always behind something too. They produced a yearbook with guidelines on urban tree planting. Guidelines, maybe basically instructions or mandates. The overwhelming majority of the trees recommended in that yearbook were exclusively male, favored primarily for aesthetic purposes. So they try to blame it on saying, oh, it's less pile up of seeds. That if it's a lot of female trees, they drop a lot of seeds and it's easy to clean up. And bro, you gotta be fucking kidding me. That pollen look like it's a pain in the ass all over people's properties and all over the streets. And obviously the breathing. May 2021 study on urban tree pollen conducted by Canadian health and forestry researchers said this had the effect of drastically increasing the presence of pollen in cities. But the trend didn't stop there. In recent decades, city planning strategies have promoted the masculinization of the urban forest. An example, planting male trees over female trees for their litter-free characteristics, the researchers say. And this also made me think about it when I was trying to create the title, or maybe the description is like, is this like terraforming? This is similar to where I talk about you go to another planet, You seed that planet, you help terraform it. It changes the atmosphere, the different oxygen and CO2s get released. See, they be doing little slick shit that we ain't on. They plant a whole bunch of fucking male trees, and we be just thinking, oh, they planting some nice looking trees. And then 20 years later, a whole population of people can't hardly fucking breathe. You know what I mean? Y'all getting where I'm getting at right here, right? Botanical warfare, right? So keep in mind, keep focus on that 1949 USDA Yearbook. Something really shifty about that 1949 USDA Yearbook. I might pull it up and really take a look. All right, let's see. They basically just repeating over and over. Oh, male trees they're easy to clean up and they look better. Yeah, motherfuckers. And supposedly female trees, a lot of female trees are good for like breathing, especially with adolescents and younger kids. It's just like, yo, like and then you think about a lot of shit that they do. They put out a bunch of nasty foods. Then here come the same people who own these food companies. Here comes the medicine. Here, take this medicine if you're having problems with allergies. Like, it's just, we gotta watch these motherfuckers real close. Y'all planting all these male trees, and here y'all come with all these Claritin commercials and all this. Like, we need to follow the paper trail and finding out who ordered all this, and then y'all motherfucker, here y'all come with the pharmaceutical medicine. Hell yeah, take these pills. Oh yeah, take this Mucinex. Take this. Like, yo, get the fuck out of here. Like, y'all niggas, you fucking sneaky, shifty reptilian motherfucker. No, I'm going on. Let's get back on. I'm about to start preaching on y'all niggas. Like, what? All right. Let's look at it. The other thing to keep in mind is that because of climate change, there are more intense releases of pollen and a longer growing season, Mendez says. The carbon dioxide is what makes the releases of pollen more intense because it doesn't stay cold as long as growing seasons last longer. Cold as long whatever. Carbon dioxide with plants act like a hormone almost, Ogren said. We have more carbon dioxide in our air now than we ever had before in history. So if all this carbon dioxide going on, the male trees are now producing more pollen than they ever did before in history. The pollution contributing to climate change is also worsening the allergy problem separately. As I told you, especially around fall time, when the summer goes into fall, and I used to hang around downtown a lot, boy. I used to be having crazy days of asthma, bad breathing for like 24 hours. Anytime I would hang downtown, you know, all the traffic and pollution and car fumes mixed with a lot of the trees downtown. And now that I'm finding out, y'all motherfucker orchestrated to plant more male trees that's causing all this pollen. Like, yo, I'm on y'all ass. Like, y'all can't keep getting away with it. They can't keep getting away with this. Real shit. Like, yo, 'cause I was fucked up yesterday. And it usually happens once a year. It's like, this is nothing new. Once a year, I gotta expect it. Like, I'm gonna be fucked up. I better have an asthma inhaler ready, or I'm gonna have to go to the fucking clinic, the ER, my doctor, anybody immediately, and get an asthma inhaler. Also, want to talk on this. Sometimes when I go to an ER and get on a nebulizer, and they steam that shit all that in there, and they clear all that up. I think it's albuterol, a more steam version of albuterol. And then it was one couple times I left the ER, went home breathing good, like, damn, I'm back, baby. You feel good once you like get through the asthma fucking attack or the moment. You be feeling good. Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, let's go around ball or something. I'm about to smoke a couple blunts. Yeah. Like, and then it'd be one or two times the next day I wake up, my shit just tight again, can't breathe. And a lot of times it's because you got a lung infection now on top of it. So I think a lot of this stuff also can cause you to have lung infections that it goes beyond asthma and to where they gotta give you antibiotics and it'll clear right up. Usually when the worst case scenario, when they give me the antibiotics, that shit clear right up. Like, don't come back or nothing, like for like a year. So it's another thing I need to research, like how does it some of this pollen and things like that, when it gets in your lungs, can it cause lung infections? All right, so let's get off this. I'm gonna go take y'all to PowerPoint. What else would I want to get y'all? What else I want to get y'all? I'm mad that they talking about botanical sexism. Like, they can't just have it. Like, I mean, obviously it is a form of sexism if y'all just planting male trees, but yeah, relax, feminists, relax. I give y'all a little bit of this later. Let's go to PowerPoint. So how y'all feeling out there? Y'all miss me? Y'all don't give a fuck about me, man. I was on my deathbed, y'all. I was crying and trying to get my last breath. Fucking miles and miles away from an inhaler. Like, I was ready to just pull into any ER anywhere. Like, help me. Like, help me, a nigga can't breathe. All right, let's pull up PowerPoint. Help me. I was fucked up, bro. I be fucked up when I'm in my asthma critical condition, boy. I be hurting out there. Can't even hold you. Nigga be hurting. All right, let's get that PowerPoint up. I'm trying. I was trying, boss. That didn't work. All right, let's go. There we go. Don't run, PowerPoint. Don't run, my boy. All right, so let's go. Let's play this video. I'm gonna rock out, smoke like I wasn't just about to fucking kick the bucket. That's sad. Yesterday I was like, yo, fuck that, man. I was like, I'll never smoke again, man. I'm fucked up. And then the next day I start feeling better. I was like, yeah, spark it up, man. I'm slowly getting back there. I'm about at 80%. If I take like an Aleve or a Clarinet or a Claritin type meds, I get up to about 95%. But it keeps dropping back down as I'm getting stronger and stronger. Probably tomorrow I'll probably be at like 90% to 95% breathing without any inhaler, no nothing. Like, all right, so let's play a little bit of this. Let y'all rock out with this.
Most people think that only male trees are planted in our cities and along our streets, and a lot of folks blame their allergies
Oh, what? Get the earplug in. I don't got no earplug in.
On the overplanting of these male trees, but even though this is widely accepted, it's not really true. In fact, most of the tree species that we plant in our streets and urban settings in the eastern US are what's called monoecious, which means those plants have male and female flowers on the same individual tree. For monoecious species, there's no such thing as separate male and female trees. Each tree of that species has both reproductive parts. And as an urban forester in Philadelphia, I can say that the majority of species we plant along our streets fall into this category. Now, there are trees that we do plant that have separate male and female individuals. Those are called dioecious, but they aren't as common. For these species, it's true that it's most likely going to be a male tree, and that's because the female tree typically produces more of a mess that requires cleanup. So even though we do tend to plant the male trees of dioecious species overall are less common than monoecious species, which are more abundant. Most people think that only male trees are planted in our cities and along our streets, and a lot of folks blame their allergies on the overplanting of these male trees, but even though this is widely accepted...
Boy, you a damn lie. Because you can go anywhere. I mean, the more in the city you go, you won't see a whole bunch of pollen just covering the whole street. But as you go farther out of Philadelphia, Pottstown, Coatesville, Phoenixville, and all them areas, you start seeing like, yo, it's a lot of pollen. A lot. You be like, as soon as I see the whole street just covered with pollen, the alarm go off in my head, like, uh-oh, like it's gonna be trouble. Like, and even when I work at landscaping at my boss' house, where I'll be cleaning out his gutters and different things like that, he got like, I think he must have all male trees on his property, because the pollen be ridiculous. Like, the gutter be full of pollen, like straight full of pollen. And I try to wear a mask when I'm cleaning out the pollen out the gutters, because it's like, I already know. Because usually it be plain as day, right? The next day after I work cleaning out the pollen from all his gutters and out off his property, my breathing might be a little struggling the next day. It don't really be that bad, but I'll be noticing, like, I think it's this pollen. Like, it's just too much breathing in this area and kicking up all the pollen when I'm trying to get rid of it that I be knowing. So I try to wear a mask a lot of times. As soon as I get around the area, when I see, like, oh shit, like, put that mask on, fucking mask on. All right, a little bit of reading time. Mic check. All right, yeah, we here. All right. See, you know me, my conspiracy mind. Like, why in 1949 was y'all kind of like trying to set guidelines? And I mean, it does go in a little deeper that African Americans are a little bit more sensitized to a lot of these pollens and different things and grass clipping pollens. But that might be also because we're not exposed to it as much as other races, non-black people, white people. They're obviously more outer city suburbs more, so they're exposed to it more, and eventually you get desensitized to it. So a person that's not around it a lot, and they go around a town where it's a lot of pollen and they breathe it in for a day, they gonna be more fucked up. So it may not necessarily be like they targeted biological warfare on African Americans or black individuals, as I'm reading here, but we watching you motherfuckers, you shifty motherfuckers. These motherfuckers are masterminds. Like, this ain't a game. Don't think it's just, oh, you're tripping or conspiracy. Like, shit, it might be wild. Niggas stay inner city, they can't breathe out there. Like, I couldn't breathe. Like, all right, so let's go. A little bit of reading before I put on the next video. African American black individuals tend to be more sensitized more frequently than white individuals, but remarkably, few studies address this issue, and little is known about sensitization rates in other race groups. I mean, I pulled something up on Google search that it definitely breaks down real
Botanical
good,
sexism
like,
was introduced to many TikTok users thanks to this video that's been liked more than 450,000 times. The video claims people have worse allergies and asthma in the United States than they otherwise would because landscapers planted more male trees than female trees, arguing the males are easier to maintain than the females, hence the term botanical sexism. So let's verify. Has botanical sexism created a greater pollen problem in American cities? Our sources are the AAAAI, the American Academy of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology, a study on urban tree pollen allergy riskscapes by Quebec Health and Forestry
I'm looking up something right now. You can't see my screen, but I'm trying to look up what I see earlier.
Who coined the term botanical sexism.
And at the backbone of
but
it
it was
is
breaking
sort
it
of a
down,
nasty
like,
sort of element, like
to the molecule,
males are
what
superior
makes
to
each
females.
different
And
race.
Kenneth Mendez, president and CEO of the
sensitized to
AAFA,
these,
the Asthma and Allergy
pollens
Foundation
and
of
different
America.
allergens.
There was an
I'll put it in the
initiative
next
over
video.
time
I'll
in
try to
urban
find it later.
environments to plant male trees. Male trees release pollen.
An excerpt from a May 2021 study on urban tree pollen confirms Mendez's claim. Male trees, which produce pollen, have been promoted over female trees, which bear fruit and seeds.
We'll come back.
Why? Because it was decided that the mess from pollen is just less bothersome to clean up than the seeds and fruit from female trees. Ogren says the 1949
allergy season
USDA
for a lot of
Yearbook
us,
is
but
the
can we
earliest
blame
evidence
all of
urban
our
planners'
runny
preference for
noses
male
and
trees? But argues the approach doesn't
Is
make
this
sense
verified
because
again?
the weight of the seeds that
And
fall
here
off of
come
female
verify.
trees is nearly equal to the weight of
It keeps playing again on that one website. All right, my bad, y'all. All right, let's go back. Verify, y'all on it, huh? Check out Verify. Maybe they should Verify. Y'all hiring, man? Y'all know I'm not. I got that new school fucking journalism vibe on YouTube going. I may be able to spice your channel up. So, what's up, Verify? Give me a job. All right, let's play.
allergy season for a lot of us, but can we blame all of our runny noses and itchy eyes on sexism? 10 Tampa Bay anchor Josh Adors explains what this viral theory is all about, and more importantly, verifies what and why it's likely not what's actually making your allergies worse.
Yeah, I did a double take at this viral post that someone sent me. It says essentially that our bad allergies are because the government stopped planting female trees, which produce fruit, and instead favors male trees, which produce pollen. So Turns out this theory, which is spread on TikTok and Twitter, started with horticulturist Tom Ogren, who coined the term botanical sexism, which says basically city planners decided that male trees were easier to maintain. So that's mostly what's planted in our cities. And that's why we have so much pollen now. He mostly bases this off guidance that was issued by the USDA back in the 1940s, which he says very broadly told urban planners to only plant male trees to avoid the nuisance from the seeds and the fruits of female trees. However, a closer look shows that that passage is actually specifically only about cottonwoods. University of Florida botanist Mark Frank says there's two more issues with this theory. First,
trees have very complicated sexuality.
I hate that they keep trying to make it on some sexism. Like, boy, y'all don't get the fuck over it. Y'all talking about sexism. I'm talking about warfare, motherfucker. Let's go.
We think that humans are complicated. We got nothing on trees.
Yeah, trees aren't just male and female. Some are, known as dioecious, but others can have both in some variation or another. Strictly male or female trees, he says, are actually rare in many areas, accounting for just 20% of trees in the eastern U.S., according to a survey by University of Georgia forester Kim Coder. The second issue has to do with how trees pollinate. They do it either through wind or with insects. It's the wind-pollinated trees that drive your allergies crazy.
So when I go to list of trees that are commonly planted, for example, in Hillsborough County, city of Tampa, only a very small subset of those trees are both dioecious with separate male and female trees and wind pollinated.
Okay, but we do know that pollen is getting worse. So then what is it? Well, Frank says blame climate change. Warmer temps mean longer allergy seasons, mean more pollen, not sexism.
This very conveniently piggybacks on people's justified concern coming out of like a Me Too movement. They're like, see, it even applies to trees. But I'm just like, yeah, not really.
If you're looking for a list of allergy-friendly trees to plant in your yard, we've put a list from the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America under this story on 10tampabay.com. Just look under the Verify.
Durham, North Carolina, 2019. A blanket of pollen covered the city. It looked like something out of a horror movie, said photographer Jeremy Gilchrist. Residents were sneezing and coughing, and it got so bad, some had to be put on antibiotics. Your car was suddenly yellow, the sidewalk was yellow, the roof of your house was yellow, said Kevin Lilly, assistant director of the city's landscape services. The area had around 1,800 grains of pollen per cubic meter of air. How could this even happen? After all, nature has been functioning perfectly for all this time, and we never hear about historical allergies. In fact, we didn't hear about bad allergies before the 1970s. Why is that? The pollen apocalypse has been building for decades. To really learn how this happened, we have to go back to the Netherlands, 1910. Something was killing the elm trees. Crazy patterns were showing up on trunks of trees, and whole trees would wilt and die in as little as a month. And it was contagious. Whole forests were turning brown and dying, and there really wasn't any way to stop it. The cause was discovered by Dutch phytopathologist B. Schwartz. In 1922, she isolated the fungus behind the tree deaths. It was carried by bark beetles, which would bury beneath the bark of elm trees and eat the dry wood, shedding fungal spores by the million. After decimating European trees, the bark beetles hopped on board a shipment of logs from Britain to the US, which was a big problem, because in the Edwardian era, elm trees were the tree of choice in America. Cities and towns were lined with stately elm trees that were loved both for their straight trunks and because they're hermaphrodites. Wait, what? That's right, hermaphrodites. To reproduce, some trees have flowers that give off pollen, and some trees sprout flowers to be pollinated. The trees that give off pollen are male. You can tell they're male because they have a stamen. And the trees that sprout pollinated flowers and seed pods are female. They have a stigma. Elm trees have both pollinated flowers and give off pollen. Trees that have separate genders are called dioecious, like cedar, yew, and ash. Trees that are hermaphrodites are called monoecious, like elm, birch, oak, and pine. Trees that have both male and female parts in the same flower are called perfect, like apple and hazelnut trees. Because elm trees are hermaphrodites or monoecious, they release pollen, but they also catch it. It was part of the reason they were planted so widely in the 1900s. They didn't drop a lot of litter, and they didn't release a lot of pollen. But the lack of diversity was a recipe for disaster when Dutch elm disease hit. It decimated the American elm population, and by 1989, an estimated 75% of North America's 77 million elm trees were dead. That's around 58 million trees. Many American streets were bare. There certainly wasn't any pollen. So how did we get to the pollen apocalypse today? You can blame it on one short sentence in the 1949 USDA book called Yearbook of Agriculture. When used for street plantings, only male trees should be selected to avoid nuisance from the seed. So that's what city planners and landscapers did. They planted male trees all over the US. The USDA figured that pollen would be blown away by wind or washed away by rain, making pollen an easier civic duty to manage than seed pods or overripe fruit that would actually have to be cleaned up by people. But city planners and landscapers didn't stop there. Landscapers also used cloned male trees all over the US, and cloned male plants dominated nurseries. It was easier to clone plants than wait for male and female plants to pollinate, so male clones became the norm. After the USDA 1949 guidelines were released, the USDA produced and released into the market almost 100 new red maple and hybrid maple clones, and every single one of them was male. You might be thinking, Allie, there's no way they were actually cloning plants in the 1950s. But cloning in terms of plants actually means something different. It's a way of propagating plants, where you take a cutting of the original plant and it grows into its own plant. It also allows for some non-natural selection. The wholesale growers learned how to select a male scion wood from trees that were monoecious, and we started to see trees never before seen in nature, such as seedless cypress and podless honey locust trees. These new hyper-male plants didn't drop any seeds or fruit, and for a while, people thought they had beat nature. But nature had other plans. After the post-Dutch elm disease replanting, it took a number of years for the new, young trees to mature enough to start blooming. Eventually, they did bloom, and with them came the epidemic of allergy and asthma. Many of those original trees are still alive and well, and getting even bigger. And the bigger they get, the more pollen they shed. Male trees and plants all over.
Bro, this shit low-key making me mad. Like, here y'all go. I'm not trying to say a particular race. I'm not trying to blame this particular, but you already know, like, they moved in doing too much. When she said they finally beat nature, like, bro, you cannot defeat nature. This is why. And then they talk about, oh, here come allergies and now the epidemic of asthma. So you try to say around 1900 to 1950 until, I guess, the new trees, they kept overly populating with male trees start to grow up. We didn't really have asthma like that. Like, yo, y'all doing too fucking much, man. Y'all doing too fucking much, man. This is the problem, man. They doing too much, yo.
Over the nation began shedding tons and tons of pollen. There were no female trees to catch the pollen, so it swept over towns and cities in yellow clouds. Scientists had discovered in 1873 that pollen grains were a causative agent behind allergies. But they didn't discover until 1967 that the cause of seasonal allergies was pollen aggravating our own antibodies. Antibodies released by your immune system attach to the allergens and then trigger the release of the inflammatory chemical histamine, which is what causes your eyes to itch and your nose to run. But nobody had made a connection between our worsening allergies and the overabundance of pollen-producing.
See, I'm learning a lot right here, man. And as they say, antihistamine and all that stuff, medications and stuff. Remember I told you they'll cause a problem, and then here they come with the solution selling you shit, and now motherfuckers can't breathe. They gotta go to the doctor, use all these medicines and products that come on these commercials and shit. Like, yeah, y'all doing too much.
Producing trees. Tom Ogren was working as a prison landscaper in San Luis Obispo, California in the 1990s. His wife, Yvonne, was suffering from some bad allergies, and he wasn't convinced. He was reading a book about how allergies, which hit women hardest, are psychosomatic, or our brains invent them. And he agreed. But when his workers underneath a certain kind of tree were sniffling and sneezing more than the others, Ogren realized that the plants producing the most allergy-triggering pollen were male, and that most municipal plantings were using just male plants to mitigate the droppings. It was a breakthrough. He was the first person to link exacerbated allergies with urban planting policy. Ogren threw himself into this discovery. He got a master's in horticulture and has written 3 books on the subject. He developed the Ogren Plant Allergy Scale, called OPALS, to rate trees from 1 to 10 on their allergy potential. It's intended to guide cities to plant less allergenic trees. Ogren calls it botanical sexism. He argues that if cities had planted the opposite, all female instead of all male, it would have been just as sterile and tidy, without any pollen, because female trees don't make fruits or seeds if there are no males around. A large tree will scatter its pollen within 20 to 30 feet of its roots. So female trees would simply have to be planted outside of that range to avoid most pollination. Another argument against female trees is that some smell really bad, like the female ginkgo tree. When the female ginkgo is in heat, people say it smells like rotting fish or vomit. But Ogren likes to argue, if the city only planted female ginkgo, it'd be less likely they'd be fertilized. There'd be no postcoital odor and no pollen. Ogren's biology stands up to academic scrutiny in the field of horticulture and urban forestry. But many experts dislike calling it botanical sexism. They think ascribing a very human problem to the botanical world is trivializing. Unfortunately, Ogren's work is an uphill battle. Not only are states slow on the uptake of opals, but our environment is making the problem even worse. According to a recent study, the increase in extreme temperatures that we've seen in the last few years, thanks to global warming, is contributing to more potent allergy seasons. Plus, high levels of carbon dioxide cause trees to produce pollen at up to 4 times their natural rate. Summers come earlier and last longer, and certain species, such as cypress and juniper, have allegedly begun blooming again in the fall. So thanks to global warming, we have earlier and longer budding seasons, and increased pollen production. And the pollen problem is clear across the country. 70% of the trees are male dioecious trees, chosen to be hardy in winter and withstand smog, but very pollen releasing. It's a problem that doesn't have an immediate solution because no one is going to cut down trees just because they cause us allergies. The only thing that we can do is replant with trees low on the opal scale. For now, we have to live with the millions and millions of male trees that we planted. So when you're cursing nature this spring because of your sniffles, we suggest redirecting, because we did this to ourselves. What do you think?
You motherfuckers. See that? That's what I'm talking about. Either y'all doing too much or y'all did this purposely, and it's going to backfire. Like, I mean, it might be getting the effect that they desire to weaken a population. But if we want to break it down on race, like, oh, they knew it'd affect a certain race or a certain population more, it's going to affect everybody. So no matter what their purpose is, they didn't fuck this up. Basically doing too fucking much. Let's go to another one. But they all keep talking about botanical sexism. RSC. Verify again, yo. So all these Jones I found is on Verify. So Verify is on it. They probably don't like Verify. Shut up, niggas. Yo, snitching.
Could your allergies be worse this year because of male trees? Well, it is a claim going around on social media, and it has a name: botanical sexism.
But before you laugh, it's a real thing. Ariane Detil with our Verify team explains the term and then helps separate fact from fiction.
Botanical sexism was introduced to many TikTok users thanks to this video that's been liked more than 450,000 times. The video claims people have worse allergies and asthma in the United States than they otherwise would because landscapers planted more male trees than female trees, arguing the males are easier to maintain than the females, hence the term botanical sexism. So let's verify. Has botanical sexism created a greater pollen problem in American cities? Our sources are the AA.
Yes, motherfuckers, y'all fucked us up. Yes, they fucked us up. Somebody fucked us up. They doing too fucking much. All right, I felt this other drawing, Botanical Warfare. I don't know what the fuck they gonna say on this one. Militarized flora. OMG.
SCP-3140. Botanical Warfare. Containment class is safe. Disruption class is dark. Risk class is caution. SCP-3140-1 is the only extant member of 3140, a group of arboreal entities. SCP-3140-1's body primarily consists of Cupressus gigantea and Prunus cerulata, bark and wood, standing at a height of 12 meters. The torso of its body is roughly spherical, with multiple flowering cherry branches and small cherry trees growing from it. The anterior side has a stylized eye etched into it, which is surrounded by illustrations of Davic weaponry, cultural symbols, and skulls with 7 eye sockets. The posterior portion has a circular thermic glyph pattern, TGP, with a radius of 26 centimeters, which prevents fire and erosion damage. 3 anterior-facing wooden barrels, 1 meter long and 28 centimeters wide, with a single hole in the front, are on the torso. 1 is attached above the right leg, 1 extends from a dorsal branch on the right side, and 1 is positioned 1 meter left of the eye symbol. 2 wooden digitigrade legs are connected to the sides of the anomaly. These legs possess full articulation, due to the wood at the joints being intermixed with an unknown green and pink substance, designated 3140-C. The legs are ornately carved with iconography of Davite soldiers killing and eating people. Soldiers with unidentified megafauna and entities resembling SCP-3140 besieging castles and cities, and slaves being given to the Deva matriarchs. The bottom of the left leg features a hand-shaped recess with a depth of 11 centimeters, with the phrase, "For the Conqueror," written in Davic, found in the center. The feet have 3 long toes, 2 anterior and 1 posterior. In an inactive state, SCP-3140-1 sits in a crouching position. Any subject, hereafter designated 3140-S, that places their hand in the hand-shaped recess and says the Davic word for awaken will activate SCP-3140-1, making it stand upright. The anomaly will begin to follow 3140-S and will follow directions said in Davic. Directions that SCP-3140-1 is incapable of achieving will not be followed. Saying the Davic word for sleep will bring the anomaly back to its inactive state. Any 3140-S may reactivate SCP-3140-1 at any time by saying "awaken" within the anomaly's vicinity in any language. The following are a sample of known directions SCP-3140-1 will follow, all spoken in Davic, and the outcomes. Move. SCP-3140-1 moves to a location 3140-S, 50 URVS wide. Around his body and rip him like cloth.
Bro, what is this shit I found and I'm playing? Wherever this channel is, I'm gonna have to come back to them. Mr. CSP. I should have shouted out every video that I did, just played y'all, but y'all find it, man. Just put it in there, man. For botanical sexism, these motherfuckers termed it some shit like that. But that's deep. What this shit is saying, some other shit. It's saying it's like you can, the way they talking, like you can speak to the tree, like you. I mean, I don't want to go into that type of video right now, but like I said, that's deep. It's about to make me go out there the next time I'm around a lot of pollinated area, and then the trees is probably all male trees. I'll be like, go to sleep, tree, go to sleep, pollen. Real shit. It's something like, yo, something gotta give. Like, yo, all right, let me get off that, cause that shit went too deep on y'all. That shit was blowing my mind. That's some shit I needed to sit and listen to, and then Google every little term that they fucking talking about. That shit probably a rabbit hole, right? Just what they talking about. Straight rabbit hole. Botanical warfare, militarized flora. That's interesting. Interesting. All right, I'm gonna take y'all back to YouTube. Read a little bit of this. Then I'm gonna puff on my inhaler a little bit, because as you can probably hear a little bit. I'll cough a little bit if I try to talk too long. All right. So I start trying to figure it out. Like, yo, was this orchestrated to, like, cause you know my Negro mind, I'm gonna be on it. Like, yo, cause I be feeling like, cause like the other day, like, I mean, like I said, it could be they more desensitized to it, with whoever race is living in that area more, because they around it more as they growing up. You introduce them to the allergen, and they eventually learn to be desensitized by it. Because when I was out there, it looked like nobody else would be bothered by it. My nose be running. Like, for the last couple of weeks, when the weather's been changing, my nose been running like a faucet. Like, and then yesterday, I barely could breathe. I was fucked up, man. I should have recorded myself in my critical state. You be like, damn, that nigga on his last leg. He about to check out. That's how that shit had me feeling. Like, that's why it started making me think, like, damn, is this some type of biological botanical warfare? Like, what the fuck? Like, I was asking myself, like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, that shit had me really on the ropes. So I started looking up a little bit. Could this only seem recent in the 1949, the USDA start implementing their little schemes. All right, so let's look. Analyzing race and ethnicity's role in allergies across the U.S. Let me skip ahead. All right. Practice Fusion's research division found that Caucasians who have the highest rate of allergies in our data are about 3 times more likely to have allergies than Asians, who have the lowest rate. I wonder why. Maybe they got a lot of these weird trees over there, so they used to it. We also found that African Americans are about 80% more likely to have a peanut allergy than Caucasians. What you trying to say? Like, I feel like some underlying racism going on here. Like, these niggas eat nuts. That's so fucked up. Niggas don't like nuts. We don't want that shit. You keep it. All right. Previous studies have also found a link between race and certain allergies. A recent analysis by researchers of Northwestern Medical School, for example, found a higher likelihood of sensitivity to certain foods in African American children than in Caucasian children in a study of about 1,000 participants. We explored the relationship between race and ethnicity and common allergies in a sample of over 1.3 million medical records. Blah, 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 blah. All right, let's see. All right. The fascinating thing about allergies is that what's harmless for one person can be the trigger for a life-threatening allergic reaction in another. We looked at a wide range of triggers: medication, animal dander, seafood, dairy. I think dairy and seafood can cause a lot too sometimes. Shellfish, insect stings, soy, pollen, eggs, mold, dust, and nuts. Pause. In general, the more common allergies after medications were for dairy, shellfish, pollen, dust, and contact with animal dander. More unusual allergies were for nickel and baker's yeast. I think yeast is bad too, like too much yeast in the body. So remember what they said, that when the rising case of this started happening, it seemed like it was more required that people had to get treated with antibiotics and different things. And like I said, every couple years I might have to go get some antibiotics for them to clear up my fucking breathing in my lungs. Like, it should be fucked up, yo. All right. The data shows that non-Hispanics were about 66% more likely to have allergies than Hispanics. Non-Hispanics were 60% less than Hispanics. Caucasians were almost more likely to have an allergy than African Americans or Asians. So y'all fucked yourself up. When the municipal, the government, whatever, USDA, things get a little more mixed up. However, if you look at particular allergies, African Americans are more allergic to peanuts and eggs than Caucasians. Caucasians are more allergic to animal dander and medication than non-Caucasians. I don't see how. All them white people got dogs out there, so they love them dogs. All right, Native Americans join them with their high chance of medication allergies. So it's not really supporting my little fucking theory at the moment. But it was another one where they was talking about roach and dust mites and different things that affect African Americans more. So niggas, get rid of them roaches. I've been heard about that too. That like a roach environment and dust and different dust mites, it can trigger asthma and different things. I have another one somewhere. Where the fuck is it at? I can't find it. But what y'all think about that? Like, you think they was on some botanical warfare, or they was just being lazy, talking about something? Oh, we don't feel like cleaning up the female tree fruits and seeds that it drops. Like, yo, come on, man. Like I said, some people think they just didn't want motherfuckers walking around like it's the Garden of Eden, just grabbing fruits off the trees. Like, that don't really coincide with the food industry, like selling everything and pricing the planet, and we can't live off the land. Like, they don't really go with that. So the 1949 USDA Yearbook of Agriculture, that's something we can all look at it on your spare time. Fuck was y'all up to? I don't trust these motherfuckers. Let's just keep it 100. We all know we don't trust these motherfuckers. Like, what was y'all doing? Now y'all got us all fucked up. 50 years later, 50 to 70 years later, it's 2024. Y'all got us fucked up. Like, y'all was doing too much. I can't find that article that I had. It's in here somewhere, but like I said, what y'all think about that? Y'all think they was doing too much, or they was purposely planting all these male trees? Because right now, I'll tell you, man, yesterday I was fucked up, bro. I was on the ropes, like, and usually when I get that, my chest get that tight, or I'm gasping for every breath like it's my last breath, I'm not too far from an inhaler, or I can just run to the ER and they'll put me on a nebulizer, put me on some albuterol, and shit clear up, and I'm good for a whole year. But I was literally at work having like a 5-hour asthma attack, and shit was fucked up, man. I was hurting, and I don't even know why they would fucking do this shit. They on some basic terraforming. They don't know what the fuck they doing. Like I said, you can't beat nature. Stop trying. You trying to beat nature, and then you all fuck us all up. Leave the shit alone. Let the natural amount of male and female trees grow. Y'all fucking shit up. And it might has a, I think it has a cause also an effect with bugs too. Cause around in my boss's house, them bees is crazy because it's a lot of pollen type trees on his property. And it just seemed like it caused a lot of bees and stuff like that around summertime this time. So we all think, I think they need to cut it the fuck out. Stop what the fuck they doing. Every time they do something, they end up fucking shit up. And it's weird, interesting that it seemed like as I was leaving those urban areas yesterday and I was coming more and more into the city, my breathing was getting better. The more I got, that's fucked up. The more I got back to the hood, a nigga could breathe again. Cause it ain't that many trees. There's trees, but it's like you have a couple blocks that ain't no trees. And you out in the suburbs, in the rural areas, it's trees everywhere. So, and you see the whole ground and sidewalks is all covered with pollen. So, rock with me. Thanks for stopping by. This shit is ridiculous. They need to stop playing God. I wish they stopped, cause they fucking shit up, man.
8, 7, 6. Serious? 5, 4, 3, 2.